The horrific story of John Wayne Gacy, the real life. John Wayne Gacy was born on March 17, 1942, in Chicago, Illinois, into a troubled household. He had a difficult relationship with his father, who was an abusive alcoholic and often ridiculed and beat him. Despite the hardships, Gacy was seen as an average child by those around him. He struggled with his self-esteem and was deeply affected by his father's physical and verbal abuse. As Gacy entered adulthood, he tried to lead a normal life. He married and started a family, becoming involved in his local community. Despite his outward appearance as a regular family man, he harbored dark secrets that would later lead to unspeakable crimes, criminal background, and first arrest. In 1968, Gacy was arrested and convicted of sexually assaulting a teenage boy in Waterloo, Iowa, where he had moved for work. For this, he served time in prison, but only a short sentence due to his model prisoner behavior. He was released in 1970 after serving 18 months of a 10-year sentence. After his release, he moved back to the Chicago area, where he worked in construction and continued to build a reputation as a respected businessman. His neighbors saw him as friendly, outgoing, and generous. One of the strange aspects of Gacy's public life was his participation in charity events and children's parties, where he dressed as a clown, known as Pogo the Clown. This killer clown persona would become infamous later, symbolizing his horrific double life. The murders begin between 1972 and 1978. Gacy committed a series of horrific murders that shocked the nation. He preyed on young boys and men, mostly between the ages of 14 and 21, many of whom were vulnerable, homeless, or in search of work. Gacy lured his victims to his home by offering them jobs at his contracting business or by pretending to be a police officer. Once in his home, Gacy would handcuff his victims, sometimes telling them it was part of a magic trick, then proceed to sexually assault, torture, and ultimately murder them. His preferred method of murder was strangulation with a rope, though some victims were suffocated. The crawl space and burial, one of the most horrifying aspects of Gacy's crimes, was his disposal of the bodies. Gacy buried 26 of his victims in the crawl space beneath his house. As the murders escalated, Gacy ran out of room in the crawl space, and he began disposing of bodies in the Des Plaines River. The stench of decomposition became overwhelming in his home, and Gacy used lime and various chemicals in an attempt to mask the odor. Neighbors noticed a foul smell but never suspected it came from bodies hidden beneath his house.